Hey guys, so welcome back to LinkedIn Bootcamp. So we're on to day two. Just a recap from day one. I hope you spent some time really looking at how your account is being perceived by others when they jump onto Google and research you, what your LinkedIn profile was looking like. And then I hope that yesterday you really tweaked your photo and really started to brainstorm your avatar or ideal client to create that captivating headline along with your face that's going to be so captivating as you begin to build your brand, interact with your network on LinkedIn. One thing that you can do, and I'm going to suggest that we do this today as we dive into your summary and we look into your accomplishments and different things about your profile. If you're at a loss of words, even with your headline from yesterday, one of the things that you can do, and this is what I did when I first got started in doing a complete career pivot from the pharmaceutical industry to network marketing, is I went and actually researched some of the top network marketers in my industry and looked at how they were presenting themselves on LinkedIn. Now, that's not to say that we need to go be, copycats and copy what other people have already done. But it does give you some perspective, and you can find some buzzwords or key terms that you really like that you can then create and become creative with your own headline that truly describes you and what you have to offer. So I suggest that you go do that if you're kind of if you're at a standstill of like a blank canvas, I don't know where to start, okay? So today we're going to dig deeper into your experiences and your profile and your accomplishments. We're going to talk a little bit about following others and what that looks like and why it's important. So in order to do that, I'm going to need to share my screen again today. So let me pull up my LinkedIn account. So you guys, when we were here just with our last workshop, so what I want to do with you guys today is to really talk about your summary. So when you go to your profile, so I'm going to my profile right now. You have your headline, and that is this piece up here that I have, Built Sustainable Six-Figure Business Through the Power of LinkedIn. So we worked on that yesterday, but now where we're going to go next is the about piece. Now here's the thing, there's a lot of content you can put into LinkedIn down below. We're going to talk about each category, but what I want you to keep in mind is that the about section should be a quick snapshot of what you want your potential clients or future avatar to see. So if some of your experience is dated but most relevant to what you're currently marketing, that is okay. You don't have to put in this section, in the about section, it doesn't have to be in chronological order. So if you're revisiting a previous passion and that's what you're really marketing and networking for, bring that to the top of your about section. So I'm going to click on the marker here so you can see my about section. Let's see, let me move this over for just a second. Wanted you guys to see the expand upon this. There we go. Okay. So this is going to be your about section. What you want to think about here is what we were talking about yesterday. If you were to, let's pretend that, let me give you a scenario. Let's pretend that you are in a conversation. Let me look up Gary Vee because I used this as an example yesterday. Let's see, hang on. Let me go to my notifications. Bear with me for just a second because I think this is going to be a really good example. Okay. So yesterday in our training, if you'll recall, Gary Vee, who's highly networked, published numerous books, entrepreneur, made a post. Strategy is important, but a lot of people and teams over debate strategy and use it as an excuse for not taking action. Now, if you'll remember, I made a comment. Having been in corporate America for 10 years, I couldn't agree more. What do you see here? You see my face as my personal brand. You see my title, Built Sustainable Six-Figure Business Through the Power of LinkedIn. The reality is I made this post less than 24 hours ago, and I have 4 likes by 4 different people, 3 of which I have no idea who they are. Now, the reality is, the cool thing is, these people hit like, and if you go into my profile, you'll see that some of these guys, not only did they hit like, they went and looked at my profile, okay? They saw what I commented on. They saw my headline. And because Gary Vee is an entrepreneur in the entrepreneurial space, a lot of people who follow him are entrepreneurs in the entrepreneurial space. So when I come into an engagement or a conversation with other entrepreneurs and they see my headline, Built a Sustainable Six-Figure Business Through the Power of, right, LinkedIn, that's going to draw people, the right audience, who may be interested in business, in entrepreneurship, to go see what I'm about. Now, this could be any type of scenario. If you're a real estate agent and some very influential real estate agent or entity who's a huge influencer in real estate makes a general post with a lot of comments and back and forth, this is where you can go in and you can engage with comments. And when you do, be sure that your headline is very descriptive of the service that you provide so that you can catch the attention of people engaged in that conversation, right? Okay. No matter the content, right? So let's pretend that you are Philip, who happens to be, in terms of a career, my goal is to become a social media marketer. So no wonder he hit like on my post, and the reality is, quite realistically, he saw my headline and went to my page, right? Because he saw, oh, she's an entrepreneur. She's doing stuff with social media, and that's where I want to go. So he's going to come here, and he's going to read, okay, the first thing he's going to look at is going to be your About section. That's going to be the snapshot of any prospective client, and this is what they're going to read. So this is your moment. This is your moment of truth, whether either they're going to read or they're going to bounce and go somewhere else, okay? So you can see for me and what I'm trying to market right now, up front and foremost, I talk about my track record in my beloved industry, creating a secondary income stream, and I tell my story, and I use some power words to create choice, to create financial freedom, create time freedom, right? So this is where you want to think about some power words that stand out. If you do nothing but paragraphs here, which I almost did, you're likely going to lose your audience. So you want to use some bullet points, and you want to use some power words to pull them in. You want some powerful statements up front, okay? Now for me, I share a little bit about my corporate background because that's part of my story. And I tell about why I resorted to the industry I'm in now, okay? And then I talk about the benefit of what I'm doing now. Now, here's the cool piece. This is going to help qualify some legitimate leads for you if you can treat this profile summary page as almost like an introductory web page, right? So what I have here is my contact information. I have my website. And people can actually even book time to get on the phone with me. Now, this is important. The thing I want to point out here is that these are all links of videos. So if you have videos about a product or a service, or you've been interviewed by the news, or you name it, maybe you have some incredible articles that you've published, you want to link up the links here, and LinkedIn will let you upload YouTube videos, upload just about anything you want to that are documents saved on your computer. And so I have found on numerous occasions, people have found me through banter and conversations with common networks. and they go to my page, they read my about summary, and they've even watched some of my videos, and I've had people request to get into my calendar based off of my videos. We are in a consumer model this day and age on social media where people want to do their own research and they want to spend their time learning about you. And LinkedIn is a legit platform where people feel like they're going to get really trustworthy information about you, right? Okay. So again, I want to underscore that if you feel like you're at a loss, maybe you're new in your business and you're at a loss as to how to position yourself, I highly recommend you go look at some of your industry thought leaders and see how they've positioned themselves. And it'll start to give you some ideas on how to do that. Now, here's the thing. So this is the about section. So remember, when someone finds your little bobblehead on LinkedIn and they hover over your headline and they find out they're intrigued, they're going to come to your profile and the about is going to be the first thing they see. So you want this to be powerful, okay? Now, one of the next sections, it's going to tell you how many people have viewed your profile. So I've had 512 people look at my profile. And I've showed up in 66 search appearances. Now, what's interesting here, let me show you down here. So this is your activity. So this is going to show what I have commented on, but also what I have posted. So for instance, this is the comment that I just made earlier, right, with Gary Vee. Now this is a post that I made on LinkedIn promoting the LinkedIn Bootcamp, right? I challenge people to go look at Google and see how they show up, okay? So this is going to be, and this is going to be part of my training later in our income producing activities, but one of the things you're going to want to do is go back to your post and see who's engaged, who's commented, who has liked, because then you can go back and follow up to see if they want to learn more about your products or services or engage further with them, okay? So that's the activity. Now, when you get down to the experience, I will tell you, I treat the experience a little bit like my resume. I pretty much took my resume and dumped the categories into the experience piece. Most people aren't going to get that far down, and if they do, they're not going to read all of it. But this is just going to tell your professional story, where you've been professionally in your background. So for me, this shows basically my journey from pharmacist, from pharmacy student, a biology student, all the way up to medical director in the pharmaceutical industry to now entrepreneur, right? So this is pretty self-explanatory when you go in and you start filling this section out. If you've got an old resume you can dust off, you can certainly just play with that to just validate your professional background. Now, the next section, and this is where I'm going to start assigning you guys some action items. This is your skills and endorsements. So you can see here that people are endorsing me. And if you guys have gotten to this point yet, when you're on LinkedIn, on occasion, LinkedIn is going to ask you if you would like to endorse some people on their skill sets. I highly recommend that you go endorse a couple of people a day, because what happens is people will scratch your back and they'll go endorse for you. So see, it's not just me and my profile telling everyone I have experience in the pharmaceutical industry. I have over 49 people in my network who agree that I have a background in this industry. The same with healthcare. I have a background in diabetes. And so these are people all in my professional network who have endorsed me. So action number 1 today with your LinkedIn profile is going to be to go endorse 5 people within your network on a skill set because you know them and you know that they have a background. And then I want you to, and it's okay to do this, I want you to ask some people, maybe some teammates from a previous position or clients. I want you to reach out to them and I want you to ask them to endorse you. Let them know that you're building your LinkedIn profile and you just want to begin creating that credibility. So that's going to be action number one. And you'll find as you put it into your like weekly habits of endorsing others, you'll find that others will start endorsing you too. It's kind of similar to some of the engagement in Instagram and Facebook where people are commenting and supporting your post, and you feel like you're being supported, and you go and support those people as well. Now, the next section is industry knowledge, okay? And these are just categories, and interpersonal skills and other skills. Now, see, I added this one, residual income expert, career pivot expert. So you can actually edit these, and I'm going to show you how to add and edit in just a minute in these categories. But first, I'm going to work my way through this segment. But it's important for keyword searches that you have as many knowledge-based categories as possible, so that people who are searching within your industry gives a higher likelihood that you're going to pop up in their search on page 1, okay? Now, recommendations. This one's been huge. So everyone, this is going to be action item number 2. So number 1 is to endorse others and request some endorsements from people who are close to you to get that profile moving, okay? The second thing is I want you to reach out to a couple of previous clients or teammates, depending on your business, whether you've got clients from being a financial advisor or clients from real estate, or maybe you've got teammates from network marketing and you've helped them grow their business and you've been an incredible leader for them. Maybe you're a health coach and you've made a huge impact on people's lives. I want you to reach out to these people. You can ask for a recommendation right here, or you can actually just pick up the phone. I have found, so you can search people right here. So who do you want to ask? So maybe I'll want Lakshmi. Let's see if she shows up. So I could ask Lakshmi, who's in the training this week, for a recommendation. So we used to work together. So we were in different groups, and my position at the time, I was a director at medical science liaison, right? So I'll hit next, and I can hit send, right? Okay. So this is how this works. That I will tell you, to really get your profile started and get some great recommendations, give people a heads up, people that are close to you. So Jennifer Bartram is an executive on my network marketing team that I coached 2 executives. So I helped her grow her business. And so I reached out to her personally and I said, Jennifer, I am going to be building my LinkedIn profile, and I'd love some validation from you on my coaching and support to you. And so I let her know before I sent the recommendation. You can go as far as actually even writing, if you know people well enough, the recommendation, like in the sense of like the different categories you'd like for them to cover. You can be as vague as just different categories you'd like for them to cover and highlight for your recommendation, to literally writing your recommendation and asking them to support it, right? And send it to them if you're close enough to them, right? So we're just talking close friends, close clients to get the recommendations started on your LinkedIn profile, okay? And then you can request them on a weekly or a bi-weekly cadence. That's up to you, but it just gives really great validation to your background when you do this, okay? Now, the last thing I want to talk about is interests. So, and we're going to actually, let me go. I want to show you first of all with skills and endorsements. You can add to your profile section. So I'm going to click on add. So here's the thing down here, you can add skills, you can add accomplishments, you can add additional information. So if you're looking at an influencer's profile and you're like taking notes on what you want to do with yours, and you're seeing sections that you don't have in yours, that is A-okay. You can add them. You can add them to your profile. So for instance, accomplishments. Maybe you've got an honors or award. So for me, I actually just won a top income earner 2019 with Isagenix. Just came to me in the mail, right? And I'm going to be recognized in a month. So maybe I want to put president and CEO, right? So I'm not going to fill it all the way out, but I'm just giving you an example of what you could do. Maybe you're in real estate and you got a very specific award within real estate that really helps you stand out. Or maybe you have a special licensing that you want to add here. But what's important is you know what's going to be important within your background, okay? So you can continue to add and play with this as you go along. You want to keep in mind your potential client, right? Your avatar and what they're looking for in your background that you can highlight, okay? All right. So the next section down at the bottom that's important to note, and where I get a lot of my content actually and connections, is through interests. So I'm going to click on see all. So when you start to build your interests, you can follow influencers, you can follow companies, you can follow groups, and you can follow schools. I find that if you can find the influencers within your area of expertise, A, you're going to get connected with a lot of other people who find the same value you do, but B, you're going to be able to grab some really cool content and reshare with your network. So for instance, if Gary Vee was to make a comment like he did today about, for instance, his comment about meetings, and it resonated with me because I have that background, I was quickly able to respond and comment and create some connection with people within his network who were able to then go look at my profile. So you see how when you connect with influencers and you engage with those influencers, it can give you some massive visibility. Look at Tony Robbins. He's got over 5 million followers, right? But also, Tony Robbins, and I've got the girl who spanks, right? So Sarah Blakely. I love some of the content she puts out. And a lot of my network doesn't follow a lot of influencers. And so I will take their incredible posts and reshare them, give them full street credit, but reshare their posts within my feed. And I find that a lot of my network that I've been working to grow within my LinkedIn community are entrepreneurs who are small business owners. And so I'm finding a way to provide value to them with my own brand awareness, right? So they're seeing my face and they're seeing my headline and who I am, and I'm constantly providing value in their feed with these thought leaders within our industries. Okay, I hope this is gelling and making sense. Same thing, so Brene Brown, right? Many of you are familiar with her. My network loves when I share content from her. I also have expanded my network, and that's going to be our next training series, is how to really start growing and expanding the right network. But I've been able to just really grow some organic relationships and share some incredible content by following influencers. You can do the same thing with companies, especially depending on your industry. If you're in banking or, again, real estate, I can see how you would want to follow some companies here. Groups. So what are some of the most influential groups that you could be following right now? It's a great place to get into those groups a couple days a week and get into some banter and conversation with people within your area of expertise. So I've joined the Entrepreneur Magazine group, the Art of Network Marketing, Marketing to Women in Network, to Women Network. So, and then I've got some pharmacy stuff, and then schools, right? So I've connected with a lot of people on LinkedIn because of our background and where we went to school, right? And it's really begun to expand my network. Now, if you are at a loss of where to start with followings, what I, again, would recommend is get started by going to a thought leader in your, that you idolize, really. So like Rachel Hollis is one of my favorites to follow. She has incredible content. I love her podcast. She's an entrepreneur, women in business. And so I will go, if you scroll down to her profile, and I can find her interests. So this is what she's following. And I can click on See All. Now, look, we're both following Tony Robbins and Gary Vee. Imagine that, and Richard Branson. And so if you're at a loss, go find some thought leaders in your industry and see who they're following, okay? And then all you have to do is, okay, so the Big Red Group, Naomi Simpson, all I have to do is click follow. And now I'm following her. Her content will come through my feed. The same thing for companies. So Rachel's following Forbes, so am I. Inc. Magazine, I'm following as well. Ramsey Solutions, that would probably be pretty good for me to follow. So I just clicked following. What this does, guys, is it's going to start filling your feed with some really cool content from the groups, the influencers, and the communities that you follow, that you find relevant to your business. And what you're going to be able to do is start connecting and creating relationships with others who follow in that group, but also we have some incredible content that you can then share and bring back to your network that you're trying to build rapport and value with. Because remember, we're not in LinkedIn selling every day. We're in LinkedIn every day providing value and providing brand. And the more people see your face with that little bobblehead with valuable content that provides value to them on a daily and weekly basis, they begin to know you and trust you and know you as a thought leader within that niche that you're going to build for your personal brand. So I hope this is all coming together for you guys on the video 2 for training. So here are your take homes for today. Action number 1 is going to be to get some endorsements and give some endorsements. So endorse folks who are coming through your feed, but also ask for endorsements to start bolstering your LinkedIn profile. Number 2, I want you to ask for 5 recommendations this week from people who you've coached or that have been clients of yours that you know personally that can provide phenomenal endorsement or recommendation for you. If you have to write it for them, that's fine. Give them some guidelines on what you want this for, who you're marketing to, what kind of brand you're trying to build, okay? And number 3 is I want you to go to the following section, and I want you to pick out a couple of influencers and community and companies and communities to start to follow. And I want you to start going and checking those and finding some good content that you can engage in or share with the network that you're going to start building here in the next video. I hope you guys are finding this information valuable. I hope that the wheels are turning and you're making changes and you're connecting already. So let's get to work on those activities, and we'll see you again tomorrow.